What is going on, my friends? Today we are ranking the top 10 best towers in the game based on the quality of the gears. So in a way, if the tower has the best epics, blues and greens, therefore it must be the best one. I actually created a matrix in which I would give up to 50 points if the epic is absolutely the best in the game, up to 30 points if a rare is absolutely the best in the game, and up to 20 points if a specific green piece it is absolutely godlike. So at the end of the day, after I followed this matrix, I calculated the scores, and there we have the top 10 best towers in the game. Let's begin. And before I start with number 10, as usual, if you like the content, if you like this video in particular, feel free to subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, comment down below. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me a lot. Now, number 10 is taken by the Earth Realm Tower, which got 189 points. Now, the Earth Realm Tower doesn't really have the best rare pieces in the game. However, it has one exceptionally good rare piece, and this is the famous Dashing Smile. Sadly, it is really good once maxed out. If you don't have it maxed out, it's not really that great. However, there is another rare which has the contrary. The other rare, by the way, is super good at low fusion, and once maxed out, it isn't really impressive, and this is the Body of Steel. The Body of Steel is a super useful piece of gear. Again, it is very good at Fusion 0, it gives you tons of value. However, once maxed out, it isn't something extraordinary. And I also forgot to mention that unfortunately for the Earth Realm Tower, its green pieces, the uncommon pieces, they are not really amazing. There isn't even a single one where you can say, okay, this piece excels at something. No, there isn't a single one. However, when it comes to the epics, there is one exceptional epic, which is the Jinsei hat. The Jinsei hat is incredibly powerful at Fusion 0, but at Fusion 10 it is godlike. It is by far one of the very best epics in the game. And there is another one, very good epic, again, which is good at Fusion 0 all the way to Fusion 10, the Torturer. Sadly, the rest of the epics are just okay. They are not really trash, but they're not amazing at the same time. This is the reason why the Earth Realm Tower got the number 10. Number 9 and number 10 are separated by just 1 point. However, the tower that occupies number 9 is the Darkwing Tower. Just like the previous tower, unfortunately the Darkwing Tower doesn't really have good greens. Not a single one, and that's really unfortunate. However, this tower offers 3 of the best blues in the game. All of them are great, and 2 of them are absolutely exceptional. Talking about Dark Mental, which makes you immortal on attack, which is always useful, and the Wicked Sister Festive Mask that makes sure that your bleeds can stack. All in all, one of the best towers in the game when it comes to blue pieces. However, when it comes to the epic pieces, it is the same picture like with the Earth Realm Tower. There is one super good epic, which is the Wrestling Star Last Puff. This epic is awesome on Jax Fusion 0 and great more or less on any character once you step up on the fusions. The second really good epic is the Wicked Sister Sultry Gown, which again is great on Melina, but also is really good on any other character. The problem with this tower is that the other 2 epics, the Soul Seeker and the Jinxed Whip, are not really incredible. Again, they are not completely unusable, but definitely not one of the best epics in the game. And coming in at number 8 is the Action Movie Tower. This time the picture is slightly different, and this is the case because this tower has 3 just decent greens. I wouldn't say that they are incredible because there are better greens in the game, but at the same time they are much better compared to the greens of the previous tower. So it is understandable why this tower got a little bit more points in the end, ranking at 194 in total. However, let's talk about the rares. This tower offers 2 of the best rares in the game. This is the Stunt Award and the Director's Makeover. Both of those rares are absolutely godlike, especially once you manage to max them out, but to be honest with you, they are also working pretty good at low fusion. The Tin Hat is just okay. I wouldn't say the Tin Hat is an incredible rare, but definitely isn't one of the worst. And when it comes to the epics, this tower offers two of the best epics in the game. The first one is Director Chair. It is one of the best pieces to use on your supportive character. This piece works even if you never use the character. So the character has the Director Chair, he's tagged out, and still the Director's Chair is adding value to your team. Of course, if you want, you can give it to your main fighter and it will still work. Also, Stun Body is one of the most annoying gears to face in the game, but at the same time one of the best pieces to use on Johnny Cage. So all in all, this is a tower that can offer everything. It has very good offensive gears, it has extremely good defensive gears, so it definitely deserves a spot in top 10 best towers in the game. And ranking at number 7, guys, is the Linkway Tower, which got 196 points. This is a very weird tower because it has probably the 3 best green pieces in the game. Unfortunately, the rare pieces of this tower are super underwhelming, and it has very good epics. So let's start with the rares. It has the Ice Bomb, which is probably the best green tower piece in the game. It's super useful, especially once maxed out. You have the Kuai Liang Bracers, which can be very useful if for some reason you cannot break the enemy's block. And it has the Frozen Mummy, which can be occasionally useful, but definitely in certain situations it can save you in certain battles. When it comes to the rares, unfortunately they're not that great. The Frozen Axe is pretty decent, but nothing special. The Ice Gloves are bad, to be honest with you. And the Cryomancer Armor is the only pretty decent tower piece that can be used on more or less any character. And on top of everything, it can be pretty much used at Fusion 0 because the Ice Shield that provides is quite long. And now let's get to the epics. Kuai Liang Scepter doesn't need any introduction, one of the best epics in the game. Unfortunately, the effect that you unlock at Fusion 10 is quite underwhelming. The Cory Blade is probably one of the best pieces if you want to build a one-man army. Just give him that piece, he's going to become more powerful, he will gain ice armor all the time, and he'll be power draining his enemies. I mean, one of the best epics in the game. The Frost Orb is one of the best defensive epics in the game. For one thing, at Fusion 0, more or less it works, so you can save you at Fusion 0 and that's all you need. And at Fusion 10 you gain immunity to Frostbite and Stun, that's always useful. And the Frost Mask, another piece which is a little bit more, let's say, situational. It works on Sub-Zero, but at the end of the day, once you have it maxed out, it is also very powerful. Coming in at number 6 with only 1 point advantage, it is the Black Dragon Tower that got 197 points. To be honest with you, I was kind of, let's call it that way, surprised that the Black Dragon Tower ranked that high, but let's be real, it has pretty decent greens. I mean, the tower doesn't have a green that is quite bad. All of them can be used in certain situations. Also, the tower offers good blues. I wouldn't say that this tower has the best blues in the game. I wouldn't say it has the worst blues in the game. It ranks somewhere in the middle. None of the blues are exceptional, but still they're quite decent. And of course, when it comes to the epics, this tower offers 2 pretty great epics. The first one basically fills your power, and you can get 3 bars of power extremely fast, and you can get that even if you have the piece at Fusion 0. And the second extremely good piece is basically giving you speed, and that is always useful. I mean, speed is great on any character, and as long as you have this piece unlocked, even at Fusion 0, you can more or less guarantee yourself that you'll have speed for good. So this piece is one of the very best epics in the game, in my opinion. However, I'm still surprised that the Black Dragon Tower ranked so high. If I was just to rank it by subjective feelings without ranking every single piece one by one, probably I would rank it outside of my top 10, but anyways, it ranks steadily at number 6. And coming in at number 5, we have the Cold War Tower, or probably they're going to rename it to the Cold Tower. I mean, if it is named after the characters, nobody knows. Now, this tower has extremely good blue pieces and also extremely good green pieces. For instance, the Deadly Icicle. It gives you a 100% chance to apply Frostbite on special attack too. How awesome is that? Also have the Bayonet, it gives you critical hit damage and critical hit chance, and it is an accessory. It is super useful piece. The Oshanka is always pretty good because it gives you resistance to freeze. In fact, this is probably the only piece in the game that actually gives you resistance to freeze, if we exclude the pieces that gives you resistance to all the buffs. When it comes to the blue pieces, we have the Finka. This is probably the best blue piece in the game, the best offensive one, because if you give it to any character that can do dots, and if you give this character critical hit chance and critical hit damage, he can annihilate entire enemy teams. For instance, with this piece and 3 regular Faction Wars gears, Assassin Scarlet can annihilate every team in the game with only her passive. You don't have to do anything, they're just going to die because of her passive. Of course, if you agree that they are not really characters that can heal on dots or characters that can resist dots. Also, we have the General Knockout Gloves, which is not really the greatest piece in the game, it is still decent, and we have the Telogreika, which is pretty useful in specific situations. Again, out of the 3 rares, the Bloodmaster Bloody Finger is absolutely an exceptional one. When it comes to the epics, this tower has probably the best epic in the game once maxed out. It is the Weather Warfare. It is extremely powerful piece. Basically, they tag in, they're frozen, especially if you have the Quailiang Scepter, you do special one, it is a little one, and you hit them, and you basically kill them all with 1 hit. It's super great. Now, the Missile Gap is also another very useful piece because of the 70% critical hit chance boost. That is absolutely incredible. You can absolutely disregard the stun of the missile counter attack. You can just focus on the 70% critical hit chance boost, and this is going to be enough. The General Father's Gun is also very good. It gives you a basic attack and blockable chance, and it also extremely good chance to apply Shield Break on Special Attack 1. More or less super useful piece on any character that fight using Special 1. And we have the Bloodmaster Iron Curtain, again one of the very best armors in the game. The bleed lasts 40% and even more longer, and if you have it maxed out it goes all the way to 50, which is incredibly good. It gives you health, and of course it gives you also immunity to all dots. One of the very best armors in the game. And ranking at number 4 with 200 points sharp, we have the Twisted Tower. Now, the Twisted Tower just has one very good green. This is the Carnival Thrill. The rest isn't really impressive. However, this particular tower has 3 legendary rares. They are absolutely exceptional. The first one is the Weakened Dad. It is so useful in the start of the game, it is so useful every single time when you attack, so definitely one of the very best defensive pieces in the game. It has also a Time Traveler's Cool Factor, one of the very best armors in the game. It has tremendous offensive power, it can be used on so many characters, such as for instance Slasher Jason, MK11 Scorpion. It is so easy to get to X-Ray multiple times with this armor, so one of the very best armors in the game. And we have the Tamer Sinful Whip, one of the best weapons in the game, gives you unblockable chance, a lot of dots, also doing more damage if they're suffering from those negative effects, so very good pieces. So this tower has 3 of the very best rares in the game. When it comes to the epics, I wouldn't say that this tower has the worst epics in the game, but I wouldn't say it has the best epics in the game at the same time. There is one epic that stands out, the Favorite Toy. It is useful all the way from Fusion 0 to Fusion 10. However, the rest of the epics are not really great. Now, the Tamer's Hessian Boots is not really bad. It is quite useful, I would say, on more or less any character. However, it's nothing exceptional. The Time Traveler's Arm Cache is the same, which is useful but nothing exceptional. And to be honest with you, the Misfortune Tower isn't really great. I wouldn't really rank the Misfortune Tower as one of the very best pieces in the game. Again, it isn't horrible, but definitely nothing incredible. So at the end of the day, the Twisted Tower ranks at number 4. And coming in at number 3, guys, we have the White Lotus Tower. Again, only 1 point advantage compared to the Twisted Tower. The White Lotus Tower got 201 points. This tower has one of the very best green pieces in the game when it comes to towers, of course, which is the Shinta Fortune. It gives you 33% chance to power drain on Special Attack 1, which is super useful on a lot of characters that actually don't do that, but you are still trying to spam their special ones, such as all Scorpions, Sub-Zeros, you name it. On top of everything, it gives you 15% power reduced cost on all special attacks, which is always useful. The rest of the greens are nothing incredible. However, this tower has probably one of the top 3 best rares in the game. I'm talking about Shinta of Malice. This piece is incredible all the way to Fusion 0 because it gives 20% team resistance to all debuffs, that is absolutely busted. And at Fusion 10, it gives you 30% team resistance to all debuffs, and on top of that, once you attack, you have 100% chance to apply death mark to the user, to the enemy actually that you are tagging into. So at the same time, Shiranui of Malice has one of the very best defensive potential and one of the very best offensive potential in the game. The God Helper Kitsune, the other weapon, the rare weapon, isn't really incredible, but I wouldn't say it's worthless. In the beginning I thought it's super bad, but actually I found out that you can use it in a lot of situations and it can be quite useful. And Tsukumogami Demon's Heart isn't really incredible, to be honest with you. This rare piece is just okay, nothing special at the end of the day. However, this tower really excels when it comes to the epics. It has Shiranui of Revenge, one of the very best epics in the game. Unblockable chance, shield break on block breaking attack, super useful, and 50% chance to apply Team Silence and Team Bleed either on Special 1 or Special 2 once maxed out. So this piece is one of the very best weapons in the game. On top of that, we have Shiranui of the North, one of the very best accessories in the game, because it gives you super high chance to apply Frostbite on Special 2. On top of that, you're gaining shield once you apply the Frostbite. And to be honest with you, you can probably counter this by saying that Deadly Icicles also has that. However, in this case, you can apply Team Frostbite. So it is absolutely busted. Again, another piece that is useful from Fusion 0 all the way to Fusion 10. And we can end this with God's Helper Tanuki. Again, extremely overpowered piece. Basically, you tag in and you have luck until you tag out. You tag in and the enemy has weakened until he dies or he tags out. How busted is that? And on top of everything, once you die, you actually don't die. There is a shadow, a tanuki, spirit, whatever, that fights for you for 10 seconds. It is super useful piece, and it is great also when it comes to being defensive piece and when it comes to being offensive piece. One of the best armors in the game. And the runner-up of the video with 202 points. And the runner-up of the video with 202 points is the newly redesigned Shiranui Tower. I mean, the new pieces of gear are absolutely godlike. Let's start with the greens. The greens give you chance to set enemies on fire on basic attacks, which is absolutely busted. It gives you ways to resist fire, 100%, and it gives you ways to heal from fire. Absolutely busted. When it comes to the blue pieces, we have 100% regeneration on tack, and this basically works on Fusion 0, which is totally busted. You have 50% chance to pull back enemies if they try to tag out, and on top of that you have 25% chance to avoid special attack. Super good. If you add to this the fact that you can drain power on special attack 1, the Spectral Inferno Chains becomes one of the very best rares in the game. And we have the Muramasa Blade, which isn't really incredible, but definitely is a solid blue piece. However, when it comes to the epics, everything really changes, because the epics of this particular tower are super good, especially the Spectre's Burning Vengeance, which in my opinion is the very best epic in the game at Fusion 0. There is one simple reason for that. It basically gives you free MK11 Scorpion passive. It is absolutely busted. Again, the Spectre Burning Vengeance, one of the very best pieces in the game. If you have to be honest, its effect that you unlock at Fusion 10 isn't really incredible, but what makes this piece so great is everything before Fusion 10. The Champion's Nunchaku, another pretty good piece with the fire that Liu Kang does from the touchline, let's call it that way. It works super good, it deals massive damage and sets enemies on fire, and the two Jade pieces are super useful. Sadly, they start being great once maxed out, but still, even if you don't have them maxed out, I would say they can be pretty useful, especially when it comes to the Edenian bracelets. And before we reveal the winner of the video, I just want to tell you guys the rest of the towers and how they rank. At number 11, only 2 points shy of what the Earthrealm Tower achieved. We have the Classic Tower with 187 points. Then we have the Edenian Tower with 176 points, and I was really surprised to see Edenian Tower ranking that low. But the thing is, every single time when I'm ranking every single piece of gear, I give 5 extra points if the gear is exceptional at Fusion 0 or if the gear is exceptional at Fusion 10 or both. So in a way you can get 10 extra points if this piece is super exceptional. Let's say you have it at Fusion 0 and it's exceptional. For instance, the Frost Orb. You get it at Fusion 0 and it can save you 100%, and that is an exceptional quality. Unfortunately for the Edenian Tower, it has good pieces, especially when it comes to the epic ones. For instance, Jared Spear or Kitana Mask, they are super good epics. However, none of the Edenian Tower pieces was exceptional to me, and this is the reason why it ranked so low. After the Edenian Tower, we have the Nightmare Tower, 167 points, then the Sorcerer Tower, 160 points, and the Tower of Horror only 136 points. So without any further ado, let's reveal our champion. And the winner of the video, guys, the absolute winner of the video with a staggering difference, because the Elder Wind Tower got 230 points. That's the biggest difference between more or less any towers in the current ranking. Now, the thing about the Elder Wind Tower and why it is so great is because it has so many exceptional items. First thing first, it has just one good green, so the power of this tower doesn't revolve around its greens. However, let's take a look at the rares. Probably, this tower has the very best rare in the game. This is the Varmin Hat. It is absolutely busted. It is great at Fusion 0, it is great at Fusion 10, it has great defensive power, it has great utility, it has great offensive power. So in my opinion, probably the best rare in the game. And on top of everything, this tower has other two exceptional rares. The Widowmaker, absolute game changer once maxed out. To be honest, it is not really incredible if it is low fusion, but once you max it out, it is super good. The Matukan armor, another extremely good armor, not only because it gives resistance to all the buffs, but because more or less it cancels regeneration fights. It is super good rare, another exceptional one. Now let's take a look at the epics. And they are quite awesome as well. In fact, there are two really great epics. The first one, which is exceptional, is a ceremonial pipe, which can be your lifesaver in a lot of fights, because even at Fusion 0 it gives you 70% chance to steal the positive effect of the opponent. So the enemy starts regenerating, now you're regenerating. The enemy has a shield or invulnerability on attack, now you have shield and invulnerability on attack. And on top of everything, having 30% chance to apply random buff to the user on combo ender isn't really incredible because you don't really have the buff, but let's be real, the buffs are not that often, so you definitely will benefit from that. When it comes to the rest of the epics in this tower, they are also incredible, with the Varmint armor being super good. I have this armor maxed out for so long and I've been actively using it more or less in every single fight. The shield break on attack is super incredible. Also, this armor saves you, so in a way not going to die, and it gives you recovery. So what else could you possibly want out of a defensive piece? Not only that it can save you, but it also has huge offensive power thanks to the shield break. Now the rest of the epics are also good. I wouldn't say they're exceptional, but they're pretty good. The Matukan axe or Tomahawk is super impactful. I used it a lot on my maxed out account. And the Dagger of Spirit is just meh. I wouldn't say it is horrible, but definitely it's not really the best epic in the game. By far the worst epic in the Elder Wind Tower. So if you have to summarize, the reason why this tower ranks so high is because it has three exceptional rares. All rares in this tower are great, both at Fusion 0 and all the way to Fusion 10. On top of that, it has two exceptional epics, and this is the main reason why the Elder Wind Tower ranks #1 with 230 points. Alright guys, so this is going to be all for you today. I hope you found this video useful. Please let me know whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, and have an amazing rest of your day. Take care, guys.
Perfect.